Former President Donald Trump's administration is pushing a plan to ease prosecutorial oversight of public officials and federal lawmakers, an attempt to reduce the Justice Department's control over potentially politically controversial investigative procedures. And concerns are growing in the United States.
The Washington Post reported on the 17th that the Trump administration is pursuing a plan to reduce the involvement of the Justice Department's Public Ethics Division in the investigation of public officials and election-related crimes. There are currently 93 federal prosecutors' offices operating across the United States, and each has the authority to investigate and prosecute public corruption cases in its jurisdiction. However, until now, these prosecutors had to consult with the Public Ethics Division at the Justice Department headquarters in order to begin an investigation of high-ranking public officials such as federal lawmakers. Even requests for search and seizure warrants or summonses of officials had to be conducted in consultation with the Ethics Division, and in particular, indictments of federal lawmakers required the Ethics Division's official approval. This was a safeguard to prevent political abuse of prosecutorial investigations during sensitive political situations such as election periods. The final decision on whether to prosecute rests with the Attorney General. However, the Trump administration believes that this procedure excessively restricts the independent judgment of prosecutors, and is taking the position that it will further expand the authority of local federal prosecutors' offices. The Department of Justice explains that this is a measure to reduce central responsibility and give equal responsibility to local prosecutors. However, some are concerned that this policy could ultimately increase the possibility of political investigations. In fact, there was a recent case where the U.S. Attorney's Office in Washington, D.C. attempted to indict Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer on charges of intimidation for his comments criticizing Supreme Court justices. But the case was thwarted by the Public Ethics Division's opposition. Dan Schwager, a former Public Ethics Division prosecutor, said, "The Ethics Division is an essential mechanism to maintain political neutrality and prevent abuse of prosecutorial power," and pointed out that if it is excluded, there is a risk that prosecutors appointed by the president will lead investigations based on political judgment. Former President Trump has claimed that his indictment was political suppression, and this move to ease regulations is embroiled in controversy, that it could further politicize the prosecution system itself. In addition, the Trump administration is also reducing the staff of the Public Ethics Division itself. The number of prosecutors in the Public Ethics Division, which was 30 under the Biden administration, has now been reduced to just 5. Some prosecutors reportedly resigned or were transferred to other departments in response to pressure from the Trump administration to drop the case against New York City Mayor Eric Adams. Ultimately, the move raises fundamental questions about whether the agency can maintain fairness and independence in investigating public officials.
How to maintain the balance between prosecutorial independence, political neutrality, and the function of overseeing power is now once again a major test for the American judicial system.